Hello everyone, it's 8 o'clock, it's Friday, and that can only mean noise from the boys. We're here again in Dingle with the usual suspects -1. So we'll say hello to who we've got tonight. Colin.
Good evening.
Chris.
Alright.
And Tony.
Now then.
First point on the agenda, straight into the action because we've got loads to talk about tonight. Cardiff review, over to Tony.
Pardon me. Well, like I said, I didn't go down to Wales myself. So we had the half marathon, the training we've been on about the next day. So anyway, I streamed it. I bought this little thing from the Apple shop. I streamed it. I watched it on the telly. It's only like 10 seconds behind, just a couple of seconds behind. And it was a funny game, crazy game of football actually. The formation, we went down there thinking, well, Ahmadis and all this, and we'll get our usual 4 or 5 goals. Pardon me. But the formation we started with didn't seem to work from the off. You could get on it. They were picking little spots, little spaces out, and they were getting a bit of joy actually with the filling in behind the fullback. The gaps between the fullbacks when the fullback was pushing on. And Scotland, I didn't know whether to come over and grab it, and that forward, what's his name, Campbell, he was like getting a lot of joy out of it, and his mate, the other fella, much. So I didn't feel like we couldn't get back into the game. Do you know what I mean? They were scoring. It was tit for tat. It was exciting to watch. They were scoring. It was like they blew all their energy into that first half. Then so like the second half coming, it was like, it's 2-2. You're just happy as soon as we scored. We changed the formation after. I went back to the 4-3-3, and it was still on. Like not taking nothing against them, but they're fighting for the lives in the Prem. They still give it a go, like, but you could see like our class was thinking, but like I said, give them credit for having a go, but they lacked the ability. But you were made up with the result at the end, you know what I mean? Because it was just you scored 10, we'll score 20. That mentality on it.
What I noticed as well out of that, Tony, is Brendan never ever panicked or looked under pressure. He didn't get up out of his seat in that first half. We were 1-0 down and 2-1 down. He did not move. He was just clocking everything that was going on, clocking their tactics, and obviously thinking, here's how we're going to sort this.
Well, that portrays as the team as well. The team are like a mirror image of him now, aren't they? Everything they do.
Cool and calm.
Yeah, it's Brendan, do you know what I mean? And you don't want to harp on too far forward to Wednesday, but they never stopped, you never thought. They stick to the principles as the points in it, they carry on the passing game. We're going to get a chance, we'll always get a chance, and we will always get a chance, and they stuck to it. They were nice, cool actually.
Well, you never give a team talk at half time. You give a little team talk. He said, but the players are going onto the pitch and they know themselves how to coach themselves now on the pitch. He said, so they've come that far in the progression that at half time he never really said nothing to them.
Just keep doing what you're doing, maybe a little
and they're plugging away, and they are, and it's not like they're panicking. They know that they're going to find space sooner than later. So they're trusting themselves as a team to be going forward at them, and so in the second half at 2-2 you could see where really we were going to come on top, and they were tired out Cardiff, and give credit to Liverpool though, they did 6 goals away from home. It's an achievement in itself really, isn't it?
Well, we touched on it last week, if you remember. We were going on about how we think the team are playing with a nice naivety and a bit of it and an innocence, and we were saying like Brendan's, you can see he's sending them out there with simple stuff in their minds, and what Chris has just said there highlights that. I mean, he's given very short basic team talk at half time, because the tactics haven't changed from the training on Tuesday morning or Friday afternoon to when they take it into the match on Saturday. Everything is uniform. They know it right down to a T. And what Chris has just said there, to me, just highlights how clever Brendan Rodgers is, and how Shankly used to say football's a simple game muddled by idiots. Do you know what I mean? And Brendan's got the same philosophy as him. Don't fill the players' heads full of nonsense. Just keep it nice and simple. Tell them what they need to do, where they need to be, and give them their own brain. Let them get on with it themselves. As Tony touched on there with Cardiff give us a good fight there, because they were playing for 3 points for a different reason than us. We're going for the league and they're looking to stay in the league. So it was a cup final as well. They had a match before the game, the Cardiff City fans, a couple of different fan groups for different reasons, march before the game, so you could see they were up for it as well. It was a sellout weeks before the actual event, so it was a massive game. But as Tony said, Cardiff give it all they've got, but they came up short because they come up short against a quality side who knows how to keep the football now and knows when to hit people and score goals as well.
Like what I'm saying, they'd say Cardiff were fighting for their lives and Cardiff never stopped scrapping till the end, and like they put a lot in, and look what we've done all season, and we are still the fittest team I think in that league because we still carry on chasing that ball. Don't forget we're full of movement. There's no one in our team standing still, so they're putting a lot in. Without the ball, that's with the ball. Without the ball, they put the movements in as well. You know what I mean? You win football without the ball, really, don't you? But the work that we've put in goes unnoticed. We're fighting, like he said, for something. And so our levels of fitness are just as good as the teams at the bottom. We're scraping for their lives. We're scraping for our lives in a different way. Do you know what I mean?
I like the way where they do know all the positions and they know where they're going to be. You know, Joe Allen knows where Anderson's going to be. Suarez knows where Sturridge is going to be. Gerrard's sitting deep, knowing where to pick the pass, and they know that they seem all in tune together. And I mean, we'll talk about Wednesday night in a minute, but you can see the team spirit. Every one of them all together, just celebrating goals, and every one of them, apart from the keeper, are all together.
Nice
so yeah, it is. So I mean, Brendan has instilled it in them now, and I can't say enough about Brendan at the moment. You know what I mean?
What it was like it was the forerunner for Sunderland. We'll talk about Sunderland in a minute, but they played 3 at the back or 5 at the back, Cardiff as well, but they were pushing high up the pitch, getting the ball back and forcing mistakes off us in the first half. Anyway, once we settled down, it was game over. But it also highlighted for me all these people on internet forums and Facebook saying, "Yeah, we're going to win that game. We beat them. We did that." Football's not like that.
No, there's going to be some twists and turns before the end.
Cardiff, Sunderland, other teams, they're all battling to stay in the league. They're not just going to. They haven't got the quality we've got, but they're going to battle all the way.
Cardiff and Sunderland, Crystal Palace away. These are the teams that worry me more than Tottenham at home, than Chelsea at home, Man City at home. And I mean that. I'm more worried about going there and fighting them who would, you know what I mean, scrapping for everything than like, and the reason, like you said, to get the men behind the ball and they make us work for it, whereas Chelsea, Man City, whatever at home, they'll give you the chance to play football. So that looks after itself, that type of thing, do you know what I mean? And like we've been proved, you want to come and play footy with us, we'll kill you.
Look at Southampton away, everyone thought we were going to play Barcelona. You know what I mean? Everyone, and you speak to everyone, they were worried about that game between Southampton, but look at what happens.
We're still flying under the radar with a lot of pundits and a lot of so-called know-alls in the game. People still haven't given us the recognition what we deserve.
I think today they have, you know.
I mean, even Liverpool, if I was walking out the grounds on Wednesday night and people were still saying, "Oh, you know, I don't know whether this team's good enough to win the league," and you're saying that, you're looking at people and thinking, "What the fuck are you on about, mate? We're there on merit. We're a point behind the leaders.
7 games to go.
It says it all. We should be enjoying it.
If they stop the season now and we finish where we finish, they deserve an open top bus now with City for what they've achieved already, to go from where they were to where they are.
Totally
the football that they're knocking out now is stunning. Everyone's going into it expecting to be like enthralled and end-to-end stuff. Oh, don't get me wrong, no, it is end-to-end stuff. We're not camping in other teams' halves and beating them, you know. That Sunderland, we don't want to jump too far ahead, obviously, but I'll go back to Caveney. Cardiff scored 2 goals there early on and had a right good go at us because they know Liverpool are coming to play football in your half, so if you get the ball down and get it up the other end quickly enough, you'll get a chance to score against Liverpool.
And the last few seasons people have struggled going through goals down like that.
But that's the innocence and naivety I keep going back to. It's brilliant the way he approaches football, Brendan Rodgers. He doesn't worry about the opposition. He plays to our strengths, and we haven't had that in a manager yet. I'd go as far back as Kenny. Until last time Dalglish was the manager, you know, we had earlier Evans, even Rafa was probably the worst for it. Never ever played to his strengths. Always worries about the other side, and Brendan's like a breath of fresh air.
Do you know what it seems with Brendan? He's like a mixture of this like foreign manager, you know, he brought all the stats in your Wengers and your Uliers, the tactics, the boards.
And married them together.
And he's married it with the British manager of go out and have a crack at winning the game. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's got a fine thing now of like he's done his knowledge of the European game, but he also got his knowledge of the British game, and he knows what's what in English football. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's married the two of them together, and he's come up like trumps.
Well, he said today in the paper he's been managing now for 5 years, is it? And he said, but I've been on the line, I've been there for 20 years.
Yeah, listening, taking everything in from, you know, people knock Jose Mourinho for what he is, but you know, Mourinho is probably he's ahead of Brendan Rodgers in certain parts of the game, because Mourinho will take it one game at a time and he'll sit in his office for about 3 or 4 days and he'll rip that away side that he's playing apart right down to the last minuscule bit of fact and evidence he can take into the game on the following weekend. And you can see Rodgers has took that off Mourinho. Mourinho's a card player, you know, if you play cards, Mourinho will win cards every night of the week, hands down, and that's a little bit he's took off Mourinho. You can see it a mile off.
If Philip Boas, I suppose, like, you know, looked into Mourinho and worked with Mourinho, but
the difference with them is Mourinho, he was under the radar as a coach, interpreter, whatever, translator, whatever, with Bobby Robson. Do you know what I mean? So he's learnt off Bobby Robson. Brendan hasn't learnt off like the top. You know what I mean? He's done his badges, like doing a bit here. He went here, Spain, that thing. Yeah, well, he's done it with, like, you know what I mean? He's done it with top-notch managers and sat off and took his time like that. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference with Tingo. He's going off a top-notch fella. Brendan's like learning his craft as he goes.
And to add further to that, right at the start of last season when he took over, he was saying, 4-3-3 is my chosen formation, and I'm like, this is how we want to play. But I give him a load of credit, because now he's gone, well, we've done that and it's been successful, and now I'm going to change it, because I've looked at them and we're going to play this way, and I've looked at, now that's something Mourinho does never do and can't do.
No, I'll tell you one thing about Brendan, right? One thing about Brendan Rodgers is we used to always say, where's plan B? But Brendan Rodgers can go all the way down to E, F, G, H and I. He can pull them out, and he's also got the ability, the self-awareness to know if he's done something wrong and messed up, he'll change it instantly, and he won't be bothered that it comes back in a bad light. Doesn't care, no ego.
Made a mistake.
Exactly. It's for the good of the side. Now, I don't know who it was. He sat down with someone, one of the big hitters in the team. I can't remember. I was trying to find out today.
Sissoko.
Was it? I don't know. I think it might have been Sturridge, but I don't want to do Daniel Sturridge as a saver, so I didn't want to mention his name. But I think it might have been Sturridge. I think he subbed him or something. He's gone straight down the tunnel. And after the match, he sat him in the office about 15 minutes and told him, we don't do any of that down here, son. There's 20 odd players, you don't want to play football, blah blah. You know, all that, all the simple stuff, bring people down. Do you know what I mean? I'm the manager, you play for me. We represent them people on the cop.
Yeah, well,
do you know what I mean?
Like you say, the most infamous plan B was Mourinho's throw Robert Hoof up front in the semis.
Basketball.
You know what I mean? That is plan B. This is you know, the brain of European football. Never had nothing.
And I like what he said earlier on through the week, or it was the week before. He said there's players coming through, like is it Ryan Burton for Chelsea, and there was another player, I can't remember his name, but he coached these kids at Chelsea, and he said I'm just as happy to see these players coming through now as anything else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I thought Ryan Burton, when he played Villa, had a bit about him.
He's a good player.
You know,
I never like. Tony knows this. I don't like that type of football.
Similar with Sturridge, though, when everyone was like, we don't want him. We must have seen something in him.
At the end of the day, they come on the pitch and they do the business for you.
That's all.
Sturridge can do. When he first come, remember all that, he's doing that stupid dance and all that.
Was this pre-Champions League player? Now we're looking at a different level of player, do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm actually I'm on my next tour with the company that I've been working for, in about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm actually down at Cobham for 2 mornings, so I'll have a little nose on, see if I can
Is that Chelsea's training ground, as it called? For the listeners, you know, just in case.
Same place, Paul.
One more thing on Cardiff before we move on. There was a big fight beforehand with his boss, isn't it? The Wilcox bus went down the wrong road. All the hooligan firms in the country have been trying to get down Canton High Street to Cardiff. And the Wilcox bus, none of them can get there because the busies don't let them. And the Wilcox bus ambled in, followed by another bus, and they had a major brawl on the High Street.
The Wilcox firm?
They were thrown off, I believe, all 50 of them. So well done to the lads, because I believe Cardiff has to go and get reinforced.
A boozer empty for Cardiff.
And Wilcox's bus, I tell you what, some
faces on there. Faces as well.
Yeah, that's so, yeah.
And
they're not young spring chickens, you know that.
Well done, lads, anyway.
Even on internet forums where it's all a load of shit about, no, you never ran us, we ran you. The Cardiff firm are saying, fucking hell, they had a right good go there, it was mad.
It's a legendary bus as well, by the way.
That's half the reason I never went. Because of all that carry on. You get on a parrot, don't you hear about them?
I lived in Cardiff for about 3 years, and I used to go and watch Cardiff in the midweek games sometimes when I was bored. And they are the worst, like Danny Dyer imitators. You know, there was 12 from Rochdale there, and they'd have 4,000 waiting outside, and the gates off to get at them and all that. Pathetic, really.
One that stuck in my mind, it's almost just off tact a little bit, but was the live game where they played, I don't know if it was Leeds or Newcastle live on the telly down the FA Cup, and they got to within 5 feet of them, and the away end, and you could just see the away end just moving backwards up the terrace as the cars have got closer.
They love all that.
Well, anyway, it was a brilliant win. It put everyone on a massive up, didn't it? That the fact that we'd come back from being behind twice and destroyed Cardiff, and I think a lot of even more belief was added to the bandwagon then. Moving into a game on Wednesday against Sunderland at Anfield, Sunderland's third from bottom and all that, and everyone. Well, actually, before we get on to the game, who wants to talk about what happened before the game?
Me, I'll talk about it.
Colin put us all on it.
When the lads from the 1906, I'll just give you a bit of background first of all. These lads are called Spine Cop 1906, and it's like a flag cooperative. They've set a little PayPal funds up for themselves, and they're asking for contributions off Liverpool fans towards the making of these flags that they've got going on the Cop, which some of them are really good. And the four lads that I've been speaking to all week, well, I was speaking to one mostly. It was Andy Twinney, and there's Chris Twinney, Joe Connolly and Keynesy. And what it was really, they wanted to make the match experience and the Cop atmosphere really good on match days, so they come up with an idea amongst themselves. There's about 15 or 20 of them, as I said, and they're all home and away match going lads, and they wanted to make the match day experience better, a bit more atmosphere, so they come up with an idea. I think the Spine Cop was built in 1906, and that's what they named it after. So the flag event on Wednesday night was designed. They wanted to take a little bit of the European culture of the match day, because in England you go to match 10 minutes beforehand, you watch 90 minutes of the game and you go straight home, don't you? So these lads decided, I think they've done it once before in Tottenham against Spurs. It was last year.
It wasn't them, but it was
similar stuff. Yeah, it was similar. Not the 1906 lads. No, what I'm going to talk about. So what the 1906 Spine Cop lads decided on early last week, they put out on Twitter saying that they were going to organise a flag and banner event, 6 PM Anfield Road. So we jumped all over it, big fucking babies, aren't you, with the best of things. But all three of us all got the same imagination and idea. Chris was texting me saying, where can we get pyros from? Tony was under the impression that the banners were going to be both sides of the streets and there'd be thousands of fans there, and it was exactly how we all imagined it in our brains. So I got there about 10 to 6. I was working, I had 13 Copenhagen fellas over that had been looking after all week, so I managed to drop them off dead quick and drag them into the crowds with me. Seeing Tony said to me, quick, get through the Caveney gates, which was these two owl gates on Anfield Road, which he ended up on a terraced house, which he ended up falling over and nearly losing his nads. And we watched it from there, and I can only say it was absolutely. I'm a 45-year-old fella, been everywhere like all those have, and simple things like that them lads have done there, it made the whole night brilliant. All kids were on dad's shoulders. There was, as I said, there was red pyros, white pyros, and someone took a picture on there. It ended up on Twitter either this morning or late last night, and they'd managed to get. They must have been just where we were, and they turned the camera down Anfield Road as the outrider with the team bus right behind it were coming towards them, and the photograph, it looks like we've already got the league in the front of the bus, do you know what I mean? It's brilliant, the photograph. But that's what it was before the Sunderland. It was a flag event and a banner event, and it was designed to show the team and the management and the world that we're all in this together as fans, and the team, Liverpool Football Club's huge all over the world, we know. I've done a WhatsApp a video of it, and I sent it to a friend in Canada, and he said, he sent it straight back to him. He said, the hairs on the back of my neck have just stood up for the old 3 minutes of that video, because I don't want to sound corny, but there's only one club that would probably get away with this in Britain, and it does, do you know what I mean? Nobody else would get away with it. The history that we've got, big European nights, and I think that's what the lads from 1906 were trying to do, turn it into a massive night and show the players, look, you've got everyone behind you here, put another extra little spring in your step and all that. You're 7 games away from making history, you know what I mean? And it worked, I think, although we'll go on to the match in a minute. It probably didn't pan out the way we thought it was on the pitch, but well played to Andy Twinney, to Chris Twinney, Joe Connolly, Kearnsey, and all the lads at the Spine Cop 1906, because it was brilliant what you did.
It was brilliant,
Good
and
shout.
everyone commented on throughout, all the Pool supporters. If anyone hasn't seen the famous Caveney gates as yet, there is a couple of photographs, I think, on the Anfield.
They're going on the website as we speak.
Yeah, that's right. So if you want to check out the Caveney gates, which are now immortal, check out the Facebook page. And is it also fair to say that a couple of you's met a few famous faces hobnobbing with the stars again?
Yeah. Well, we got up there about 20 to 6, weren't there? There was about 20, 30 people there first, so we thought, is this going to be a bit of one of them ones? But it took about 10 minutes before everyone turns up, and like either side of the curves, it must have been like 10 deep, each curve, and they had all the flags on the cop, the big flags. And it went from the Shankley Gates and it went further down, like, you know.
The Caveney Gates.
Caveney Gates.
Will you come out of Stanley Park?
Yeah, by Stanley Park. Went right down there, yeah. So it was all, everyone was there, and it was all, it was just like when we come home with the cup, you know. Well,
like a homecoming.
Yeah, it was like a homecoming. It was just like a homecoming, and the coach was beeping the horn and all that as they were coming in, you know, and the flares and everything else.
How did you feel about 14 again?
Everyone was singing and you know, everyone was just singing.
Did you feel like you were 14 again? You couldn't help but get worked up.
It was brilliant. So as they went in, as we were saying, as we were hobnobbing, we couldn't get down the Anfield Road because we were going to the Archels for the pints because it was only early, weren't it? So as we come through, we went through to the players' car park where they park now, facing the Shankley Gates. So as we goes in, there's Johnny Holzo standing there. Himself, he went, oh, what was that like? He said, that was amazing, that. He said, I couldn't believe it, that's brilliant, that. And Tony said to him, he said, well, like that at your day, was it? And you used to get that. He said,
you've never got that when you won the league, but you're right, like, whatever.
He said, it's like we've won it, it's like we've won it. And he was excited as much as us. But yeah, it was.
We bumped into Barini then, didn't we? Yeah, he's standing there with his Sunderland trackie on. We said, did you like that? And he was like, oh yeah. I said, you can have some of that next year and you're back. And he was like, he was all over it, wasn't he? He said, I can't wait to come back.
Is he coming back?
Yeah, he said, I can't wait to want to come back.
He looks like he's a different player, isn't he? Gone up there.
When I had a little buzz with him, didn't I? Took a picture of this bird's back office and I showed it to him and he went, yeah, he's all over it, wasn't he?
Alright then, so I think it's fair to say that the noise from the boys, and everyone in fact, says well done to the lads from Spine Cop 1906, well in lads.
But I was going to say, they're not doing it against Tottenham.
No, it's not one against
We don't want to lose the effect of it, do you?
I'd love to see that on a Wednesday night. We get Chelsea on a City on a Wednesday night, something would be amazing. For when they come in,
and for when they come, I'd love to see it for when the away team get there and
give them a little
help them with eggs or whatever. Put the shits on them. Right, we'll go on then from the game then. And Sunderland came. Everyone expected a complete walkover. They again were the second team to play 5 in defence, really packed the defence against us, and it was a bit of a struggle, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, like you say, the game started, everyone was up with the expectations we're going to do the damage here, and they had the back 5, more or less a back 7 with the other two, with Catamol and that Bridcott, which, by the way, I just say, well, I mentioned I thought I was very impressed with that Bridcott, whatever his name was.
I was very impressed. I was very impressed the way Lee Catamol's martyrs his shorts right by his nipples. Does he take his man in with the come here son, let's try that, you need to get your nipples warm.
I think everyone in the ground must have passed comments on it. What neck of them shorts, lads, he was shouting and everything. But fail to see what he does. Him any more for the job for Sunderland. Yeah, fail to see what he does. But you know, we would think we were going to give them an iron with the position they were in the league. But I thought we looked a bit slow, I don't know, we lacked a bit, leggy. We looked a bit, leggy be the word, we weren't quick enough, you know what I mean, and to the group, you know, when they got it, and like, I don't know, they were Coutinho was a pleasure to watch the other night, I thought, you know what I mean?
Especially the second half, I thought.
Yeah, he was trying to probe in his passes, and he was trying to like find things out, he was coaching passes. And Gerrard's goal couldn't have come quick enough. Really, they're coming at a great time as well, right on the stroke of our time. It changed their team talk then, you know what I mean? It gave them a major headache when they went in. It gave us an extra buzz, the crowd for up for it out. It was like, it's more a relief when we scored. Yeah. More than like, you know, but we thought the floodgates were going to open then, but the second goal came early in the second half, and you thought, this is it now, but we seem to like retreat a bit then and just back off, and I don't think we can play that sitting off game, do you know what I mean? And we're built for attack, and we're built for attack, so carry on with the attacking. And then I think we tried to, you know what I mean, but the Sturridge, Suarez was being greedy. He never had his radar on, and he's been very greedy, you know what I mean. There was chances when he could have laid a few in, but he was trying to take them all on, wasn't he? But
he gets like that, doesn't he, where he gets in a great position and tries to turn and falls over the ball. He has games like that where it's just a degree off his top game.
But also as well, this I'm going to mention, but not like that referee. Now, like we may be saying, he's roughing and puffing and all. I said, well, it's scary times, it's squeaky bum time. And I said, but the referee never helped me. At first, we were getting a cop on with the ref. You know what I mean? We were moaning and groaning about the ref first, because he gave us 4 fouls in the whole game.
That was a sending off.
The Suarez one and the cop. Nails on.
What about the second one? Why? The Argentinian side down it, didn't he?
I didn't think that was a sending off. I didn't think the other side was coming round.
Second yellow.
But 5 minutes later it was a second yellow, no doubt about it, and he never even told.
No, I mean there were 2 yellows. I'm not saying that was a sending, but he was clean through. There was 2 fellas either side.
Yeah, there was.
But 2 minutes later he just signed them down. What is that? And then he's running around, get up, and these are blatant, like, but that's what got the crowd, I thought, like, going. But we showed a different side to our character, I thought, as well. They're stubborn, we're in it till the end. We're not going anywhere. And if you want, we're not playing well, but we're not giving in.
Yeah.
All right, and like you seen him, it was scary when at him. Got the header from O'Shea, and that's where I sit right there by that post and like.
I thought he had a smash in the second half, that Chinese fella.
Yeah, it was good that
changed the game.
Absolutely, yes.
They were more direct when they brought 2 direct players on. He was a good a masterpiece of management. Yeah, because they just took the game to us, and he was up for it. Like they had a point to prove to the manager. He was up for it, Johnson. But when he headed that, I seen him. He turned around, berated, Skirtle and Agger, and he was like, "What?" He decided to say something back, and he was like, "You know what I mean?" Give them loads, and like you seen it at the end when the final whistle, it was like relief just flood. But like I say, that tension floods down from the stands onto the pitch, and the players see it as well.
But it's the predicament we're in. We don't seem to have any games where we're playing a floating team. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, we're playing teams that have got everything to fight for, or everything to win in a similar boat as ourselves. And all season, you know yourselves, I've been the eternal optimist. I try and look on the good side of everything. And when I left the match on Wednesday night, I thought for the first time since Christmas, we look a bit leggy. We look like, and I don't know whether it's down to a little bit of pressure that's starting to creep in, but we weren't the same side that came off the pitch against Cardiff. We seem to have lost that free running, the free spirit, the we couldn't care less type of attitude. We seem to have lost that a little bit on Wednesday night. And I'm just hoping we're not going to run out of steam. That's all. The good side of it, so I can spin that round and say, well, Brendan's only using 12 and 13 players every week, basically. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got no injury list. That's how good the backroom staff are, and the fact that that we've got really fit players. What Tony touched on before. If you're at the peak of your fitness, you don't get niggling injuries. Do you know what I mean? It's only when you're struggling to keep the weight off or whatever that you start picking little stupid injuries up. So, but on the flip side of us looking a little bit leggy, we're managing to keep the same team together. So it's a fine balancing act, you know what I mean? So we are treading very, very carefully. We need to tread carefully, I think.
And just to follow on from that, I think I'm right in saying that it's really, he's only swapped Coutinho and Sterling for 2 or 3 games.
On and off.
Yeah, I think did Sacco come on somewhere the other day? Sacco came on against Cardiff,
and Lucas has done a couple of minutes.
Lucas done a couple of minutes at Man U, but it's basically
the same
Coutinho or Sterling to start or to be sub and to come on or come off. So it is, you're right, Col, saying 12 or 13, but he can't afford to maybe say Alberto or I don't know, whoever else who's on the bench, go ahead, you take it for the last 10 minutes. Yeah. Maybe he could have a card.
That's a good thing, that you're keeping the same team, same mentality, a winning team week in, week out, and that's how it should be, and that's how Liverpool was for years. Keep the same team. If you're winning, you don't change it. Don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
So it's not at the moment, you're right, Chris. Yeah,
so it won't do them no harm, I suppose. Struggling against Sunderland, not say struggle, but it was tense and what have you, so they can't go out and bang in 4 or 5 week in, week out and get that early goal at Anfield. If you get the early goal at Anfield, that's when it does settle them down and the fans down, but you're not going to get it, and it may do them a little bit of good. Like the whole game when we got beat 3-1. I think they went off from then on.
Well, you find things out when you're not doing well. You can work on things down the training ground.
Yeah, get them out the way.
Everything's 100% hunky-dory. You don't really work on it.
Complacent.
Yeah, complacent. But they'll be picking holes in that second half for the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes. You know what I mean? Make sure this doesn't happen.
The social side as well.
There was a comeback from the last one. Because we got 2 clean sheets out of it, the defensive thing, we were like, we can see. So they worked on something, haven't they? So you don't do it again.
You could do it, I don't know whether you remember, between United and Cardiff, I think they all went on the ale, didn't they? Joe Allen was 25 or something, 24, so they all went on the ale and had a big get together and a meal, all took the tarts and that. So maybe they could start introducing that once a week, do you know what I mean, the next couple of weeks, or just get together, go and have a little mini blowout on the Monday or something, after Tuesday off, and you've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to nail it then, just to keep it light, because what Tony was saying there before, off air, the 1906 lads, and the banners and all that, it can have it sometimes. We loved it, don't get me wrong, and Brendan loved it, and people who thrive on pressure will love it, but you've got some people in your team who'll go, fucking hell, what's all that about, and it swallows them up, do you know what I mean? And then they start
on us.
And then when they run out on the pitch, they're like rabbits in the headlights, do you know what I mean? So I think Brendan's probably got all this sorted. Try and just break the week up, get them out on the ale or a game of golf or something, you know what I mean?
So I think that's right, so Brendan, because he's done everything else right. He deserves the right, doesn't he, to run his own ship. Talking about the tension rolling down from the stands there was loads of complaints about people moaning during the game. You mentioned one earlier, Colin. There's a lot of our support are clueless bellends, with all due respect, and they just haven't got a clue what they're talking about. And a few of my mates who went said they were actually waiting. If we hadn't won, they felt that they would have been booing in the ground, booing them off. Oh, you haven't won, you've let us down, sort of thing. And where the team has come from in the last 18 months,
got no right to do that.
Got no right. This is an absolutely brilliant season that we're having. And Tony mentioned earlier, if it finished today, it's an open top bus tour. That's what they deserve for the football he played and where they got us to.
There was a fella who rang in on Wednesday night. I forgot to mention it to Chris before because he was there. The fella who was out the Solly, the fella from the Solly rang in to complain about a Liverpool fan had been on ripping the team. It was disgusting. And then our fella rang in, he said, I've just left the man there. I said, who are these people to come onto your radio station and start slating this side off? Where have they been? He went, I'll tell you where he's been. He's been sat round his living room table because he hasn't been in that match and he hasn't been to any game for months. And the fella was nails on. You know what I mean? I was listening to him in the background.
It will happen because in 2009 when we were going for the league, and like it weren't as much as like we are going for the league now. It was like after we beat Man U and so on. And I think it was earlier on the season we played West Ham, we drew 0-0, but we went top of the league and they got booed off. So I mean, if they do start all that, and I mean if
they'll be getting told if it's by me.
They'll be getting told by me as well. But if they do start all that, they don't deserve it. If the fans are going to start all that, they don't deserve to win the league with fans like that. You know what I mean?
It's all well said.
Here's a little fact. I've got some stats. I don't know whether anyone else does the stats, but I've got a stat for you. When United won that season 2009, you were talking about there, Chris. Man United won the league, and all we remember is they won the league. They beat us by 4 points. They won 10 games
on the spin,
1-0. 1-0. We're all tense. We beat Sunderland 2-1. Oh my God, it's all the wheels are coming off. 10 games, they're 30%.
15 years of it though, wasn't he?
I know that. What I'm saying, Colin, is our fans in our stadium you can't win 6-0 every week.
Because you know what is another thing.
You've got to get over the line, and it doesn't matter how you do it.
You're right what you're saying there. We all stood on the Caveney gate on Anfield Road on Wednesday night, and I said to Tony and Chris, these aren't. I said, what's wrong here? And we all agreed. These aren't our regular fans, do you know what I mean? These were day trippers, do you know what I mean? You could sell them a mile off. These are the people who are effing them blind and moaning and screaming and shouting.
They waited a month for one day. Am I entertain me? Am I not entertained? And when it doesn't turn to be 8-0,
they're on the phone.
I can't pay Brewsters for this, I pay them, you know what I mean?
And the radio station doesn't differentiate. They don't say, do you go to the match every week and all that? It's just a Liverpool fan. It's Billy the Liverpool fan, and he hasn't been entertained.
He was a scouser. He said he'd watched it in the house and everything. And was just talking soft.
Not nonsense, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's unreal. I can't believe these fellas who
you won't believe it, that
you know,
I can't believe it. He was a fellow saying, they're 18 months ahead of schedule, what are you on?
Yeah.
What are you watching? He said after that one game, he said they've ripped everyone apart all season, what are you going on? And a fella phoned up next to him, sorry Paul, what's that fella's name just being on then? And he went, blah blah, didn't he? And he went, he's a blue. I'll tell you right now, he's a blue. He said, what's he on about? Where did he was? And he said, well, he did say watched in the house, and he was saying exactly that's what I'm on about. He said he hasn't got a clue about it. Just like the fella, and the fella following him also had the pop, and said, listen, should be taking our hats off to these lads, what they've done for us. And he said, I've had some of the best games, or some of the best football this season that I've watched in 20 years, 30 years, following Liverpool. You know what I mean? He said, you're coming home. He said, you're not taking it home, you're not snarling in the house, and you're not snarling in the way.
Party time, innit?
Yeah. There's 30-year-old lads, 25-year-old lads going to match now who've never seen nothing like this. So, you know, and
our kids as well,
and our kids, and so they've never seen nothing like this since
well, neither have we, because when we were winning, we were arrogant kids. We knew we were going to win the league. It was Wembley twice a year, every year.
You know the last one, 1990, I didn't even go on, the homecoming. I went on the ale with my mates, didn't even go the homecoming.
I'll go next year. I'll see you next year, didn't think it was going to be a 24 stretch.
Got totally complacent at 24 stretch.
You know, you used to go out to the game, even when you got presented with a trophy, and go on to straight out on the ale. See you next year.
Well, I think we mentioned about 5 or 6 weeks ago that somewhat we might have to have a fight in the tunnel, knock Chelsea about or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I also think what we've just mentioned is a key factor. The players have somehow got to overcome our supporters at home. Away, everyone's bladdered, it's all a party.
It's a different football fan, Paul.
Exactly,
different
correct.
Fan.
At Anfield, they've got to overcome somehow this negativity of people who really haven't got a clue about football.
Yeah. Well, me and somebody used to talk about this little firm we were going to get together.
The Anfield mob.
Remember the Anfield mob?
I'm the driver.
Colin cards and everything.
They had big top hats and all that.
The Anfield mob with the wacky races.
With the mafia.
Yeah, the mafia. If Brent, we're happy with Brendan when he first come there, so we said, if any murmurs of discontent in that ground, whoever opens their mouths in that ground, the Anfield mob just turn up in this like big old 1930s Cadillac, like little top hats and suits. What do you say about Brendan, eh? You know, they can just do him in. And then everyone's in the house. Yeah, they'll do like that. Taking little pictures and everything. Said, who's in the house? Well, we had about 300 fellas joining it, didn't we? On the Facebook, I was getting little pictures of the Anfield mob will be out back.
Count me in.
So if you're a moaner in the ground and you're doing all this, you'll never win the league with this team and all the crap coming out your mouth, just be aware the Anfield mob will be up. If you get here, the Anfield mob are watching.
We're everywhere.
But so I don't think just this station. I think everyone should jump on board now and
batter everyone.
But get the negativity out of Anfield. I know it's going to be hard, but I think even the echoes. I think everyone's got to really push it. No negativity in this ground from now on to the end of the season. Because Liverpool fans, if they went into that game, the home games, like they did in European nights, I mean, week in, week out, they'd win every game. You know what I mean?
If there's no pressure on, the players can just do their own thing.
If the fans can go out and give as much, effort in as the players are giving in at the moment, there's no stopping.
That's what going back just quickly to the 1906 lads. That's why it was brilliant what they done, because it just shows us togetherness. It shows, look, we're all on a happy ride here. Let's just go on the crest of the wave and let's see where it takes us. So let's hope
the team are doing their half of the bag. Let's do our half. With supporters, support. Do you know what I mean?
Just support. 4 home games there's left. You know what I mean? 4 home games and 3 away. My God. They can smell it. All our asses like us, we've been through this over and over again. We can smell what's going on here. So the fans that are being fickle and little bit thick and a little bit uneducated, if you haven't got nothing positive to say, just try and not say anything other than support the team.
It's like my mate in work. He spoke to. He's an half. He's getting on the fella. He's seen Liverpool win everything. But when he went to work on Monday, he said to him, he sold 6-3 against Cardiff. He went, well, he said, still conceded 3 goals though, didn't we? He said, he said, I walked away from him. He said, we just scored 6 goals. The more goals you score. That's how we saw him. Wow, get it up, now.
There's no pleasing them half fellas.
No, there isn't. Because you might ask the same. My half fellas the same.
To judge everything to what's going on.
Billy Little, Ian St John, and Kenny Dalglish, and the rest of them couldn't hold a light to them. Do you know what I mean? My dad won't have anything bad to said about any of them.
I think my half fellow was on Brendan's case early doors.
Got the Anselmo one and didn't me, and then he swerved it.
Right, so in the end, it all worked well. We got our 3 points. That's all that matters. Hashtag going around on Twitter, JFW. Sorry to any listeners, just fucking win, and that's all that matters moving forward now.
Well, listen, we started off 14 cup finals. This is a possibility. Then I went to 11 cup finals. It's down to 8, 10 cup. No, it's down to 7 cup finals.
I'm still trying to drag Chris aboard our championship love bus, but he's not paying up.
I've enjoyed it, and then I keep falling back into depression. I can't handle it.
It's not wrong having a loon around. You know what I mean? to keep everyone's feet on the ground. It works. That.
You want to get in my head? Jump on the title bus. Jump on the title.
No, I am enjoying it, but at the same time, it's like it's a torture, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
it is mental torture.
You come up the game, and then you're just thinking about the next game.
I'm enjoying it. I'm fully enjoying it.
I'm loving
every minute.
I am.
Well, that man,
I'm amazed.
Until I got the email this morning off the club inviting me to pay me 790 quid in 6 weeks.
Well, talking about season ticket prices, Colin, go on. We're on the agenda there, so there's some actual brilliant news that you're going to deliver.
Some great news. I picked up off a couple of my mates who I used to work with in the post office years ago.
Spoke about this in a few series ago.
Me and Tony, these actually sit quite close to Tony in the grounds, in the Rose End, the lower Rose End. And what it was is, Gary Waller, Andy Devon and Robbie Muscat, they've got 6 season tickets between them, 3 adults and 3 kids, but the club were charging them adult prices for all 6 season tickets. So the lads got together, put a couple of emails to SOS, and SOS took the fight up for them. And Robbie Humphreys, on behalf of the SOS and Liverpool Football Club, I think he acted as a type of intermediary, got the facts off the lads who got the kids' season tickets. They got the facts off LFC, got into some dialogue with SOS. And SOS, as we know, they carry a bit of weight nowadays, so if you've got them behind you, you've got half a chance. So the lads weren't hopeful, but they thought, if we don't complain and moan, we're not going to get anything anyway, so we might as well have a go. So I think it was not long after they'd paid the money, maybe June, July of last year, for this coming season tickets, put the email in, and as I say, Robbie Humphreys has picked it up, and they got some good news back last week, and the news was that the club have agreed to honour the kids' season tickets at kids' prices. So they've all I think over the 3 season tickets, they're getting something like between 600 or 700 quid back on all 3, which is about over 200 nicker each, which is absolutely brilliant news. But then it goes a little bit further. These lads have fought the fight for themselves, but they've also got it rolled out to the whole of the grounds. So anyone who's got a season ticket for a kid who's paying an adult price, get yourself down to the club, because the lads have managed to swing it for everybody to get the reduction.
Isn't there a date? Isn't it date sensitive, Colin?
I think it's the 23rd. Or I've received my email this morning, and I nearly choked on my egg and bacon when I was reading it, when they want them. I mean, they're actually inviting you to pay now. I don't know whether anyone's aware of this, but your season ticket is now open to be paid for now. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But I think you've got till the 23rd or 24th of May off the top of my head to get your money in to secure your season ticket for next year. So, but I'd just like to say well done to Waller, Andy, Devon, Robbie, and a big thank you to Robbie Humphreys as well. And of course, without saying the SOS, without the SOS, it probably wouldn't have happened. Three lads fighting against the LFC, do you know what I mean? The SOS have got a little bit of sway now, so well played to them.
Amazing that,
and fair play to the good factor, and fair play to the club as well. For doing the right thing.
Well, it's right now. The club should go. They should go public on it, the club now, and sell them what they've done. You know what I mean?
Get some good PR,
good PR, customer care skills. You know what I mean? So, but well done to it. It's a brilliant outcome. It cheered me up when I heard it. I couldn't get on the phone quick enough to Waller and Robbie and Andy to get the info. They threw all the emails over to me, and I only had time to pick the bits out of a few. But the basics is they were arguing over the kids' prices. The club and Robbie Humphreys and SOS have got together, and they decided that they'll honour the kids' tickets at kids' prices starting from next season.
Brilliant. It's about time the
Brilliant
club
news.
to it, you know what I mean? But as I say, to the SOS, they'd
Credit to everyone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to apologise to Robbie and that for not talking the other night because I broke my ribs falling off the Caveney gate. So I couldn't hold my mouth. I usually have a little buzz with them. I was in bulk sitting in the ground.
So have you there yourself?
Yeah, not half.
Have you spoke to Rocket Man?
Yeah, look.
Well, someone owns that gate.
No, it's a bomb. It's a derelict house.
Someone
It's
owns
all
it.
it's all pitted, did it?
Rocket Man.
That's where the ground's at least.
That is where the
Just
grand
fly
is.
through the roof.
Someone owns that. So if you've gone on there, and
That's
they,
got Chicago, Charlotte, New York, and all
Hey, but I was...
He was a 44-year-old old fella who standing on the
Yeah.
other side of the fence.
acting like a
I looked like
9-year-old.
Dr. Fun.
right. So great news, well done everyone on that. And we're moving on now to the next agenda item. It's got my name written next to it, and it's the Hillsborough inquest, which, as everyone knows, I think is just in the process of beginning. Actually, Tony is going to lead on this, so fire away, Tony.
Yeah, no, it's the inquest have started this week
Yeah.
in Warrington, and what it is it's good that it's going ahead now. It looks official. It looks like they're not just there, like, you know, just nothing's gonna come off it. They look as though they're really like trying to ram it, but get to the bottom of it. And it's already within 2 days, there's been like significant movements in towards like what's happening towards these fellas who've done wrong. Like, but they found an hour's worth of unseen BBC footage, which is important to the final question of finding out the truth on the day. And through that already, they've got 11 former busies.
12 plus 1 it is.
12 plus 1 still saving. They haven't named them. And these are being questioned at the minute under the caution of manslaughter and perverting the justice.
Conspiracy and perverting the course of justice.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Proper charges.
Yeah, proper charges. Now, you know, this proves this panel in Warrington are not involved. They're involved with the right. He's not in for a sham, you know, to cover up for like blah blah, like we've gone on in the past. It seems like the main business. And I hope there's a law that can be evoked by the government, which is to legally make officers, you know, appear in Warrington in this inquest who don't want to come.
Yeah.
You know, these ones who
like
don't want to be questioned.
To come.
Yeah, it's got to be like. I think there's a motion going through in the off.
Don't know.
Just what's her name? The girl. She's from Wavertree MP. She's a cracker.
Oh,
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it's
Berger.
Luciana Berger.
Luciana. I think she put
Patrick Berger, he was going to say that.
No, she put something through in the government, like a motion, you know, to force them to say, why can't these people be held accountable for what they've done? Why are they sitting back on this anonymity?
Whatever, anonymity. But the
thing.
thing is, so if you'd have done something 12 years ago and they wanted to do you for perverting the course of justice, could you just say, nah, I'm not? Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't just say, no, I'm not giving evidence. If you get arrested, you go to a police station and you get grilled.
My mate Martin works in this building.
Yeah.
He said the building in Warrington. He said what they've done. He said for the last year or so, they've actually took the 6 floors and levelled it and put like their own stuff in there. Do you know what I mean? They've ripped them out and rebuilt it into a court. 6 courts. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like questioning and all this thing. Yeah. Said they've roughly ripped it out. And Martin said on the first day, he said he's seen people walking. I was upset. Telling you when I was telling Chris, he said he could tell right away. Just on the first day, people are coming in. You know, these survivors and all this, like family members and people are coming in. He said they were really upset. He said it was dead solemn. I said, so you know, they were getting to something. Yeah.
Well, what they've been doing is trying to, for the 96 who's died, first of all, they're trying to piece together on video and CCTV as much as they can their movements. So the families, for the first time, were in some cases actually seeing their loved one go in through the tunnel, and you know, all awful. Yeah.
Well, I see how they found this unseen footage.
From the BBC.
BBC give them an hour's worth of unseen footage, which is like major to the outcome of it or something. It was saying, so where's that been lying? Do you know what I mean? That's just 1 hour. Is there not another hour?
Well, this perverting the course of justice, I'm hoping it's something to do with the CCTV going missing in the first place. But it's unquestionably got to be something to do with collusion to say, get these were on the ale, blood, you were drunk, change that statement, change this, rub that out, put that in. So hopefully there's just, you know, that's, as you say, it's only opening days and very positive news coming out straight away that they mean business and this is not getting swept under the carpet.
But it's going to be on for a while. And
it's a long time, these inquests.
We'll do that anyway.
Even though the original inquests which were a sham in many respects. They are still the longest inquest that have ever been in British legal history, and that was a lot considering they cut it off at 3:15 or whatever. This is going all the way, so it's we're in for the long haul here, but it's as long as it takes. We've waited 25 years, so 2, 3, 5 more years it won't matter as long as the outcome's right.
Shocking, isn't it?
2 generations gone. So, but overall, it's sad to talk about it, and I think I'm sitting here with the things on the back of my neck just talking about it.
We always keep people up to date with what's going on concerning like the war, Hillsborough, the inquest, and we always keep them to Liverpool. It's in our hearts, and everyone's hearts who's a Liverpool fan, and it's all.
While we're still on the subject, then 25-year anniversary coming up. You lads, well, certainly Tony's on the walk. Is Chris now? The super sub has stepped up.
Well, the lads have had a good positive effect on me because I've took up my walking. I used to walk a hell of a lot going back.
It's not about you, Colin. It's about these lads.
I just like to say I'm putting them to shame on the trainer.
I've just come back off my 2-hour 15 marathon.
Well, I was very impressed to see the lads having done a half marathon. Well done, lads. That's excellent. That. So well done. And you both look at the picture of health. Considering I came here 6 months ago when I was the picture of health, and you were eating Chinese food and having a bevy and all that.
You
thought we were smoking pipes.
3 months of training now for the hard grass in on me.
I know. It was well done, lads.
I was eating pipes back then.
I'm looking forward to you here to your walk and all that. We've got a little something planned.
It's going to be tough.
Well, we've got a little something planned for when you come into Liverpool. Whether it comes to fruition or not, I don't know. But
we're Easter Sunday, we come to Liverpool on Easter Sunday.
I'm away, unfortunately. Down Cobham ways.
Cobham. Right. Well done, lads. Moving swiftly on. Can someone do the music, please?
Yeah.
Wanker of the week. Wanker of the week. He's the wanker of the week. Woo!
Right, wanker of the week, one of the most popular parts of the radio show on the on radio generally, not just on Anfield FM. We're looking for nominations for this week's wanker of the week.
I put it on. I put it out on the website earlier on before, but in between the website and me coming in here, I heard an absolute belter on the radio. I think it was either Radio 1 or BBC Radio 2. The Owlbirds off Corrie. The Owlbirds off Corrie, Rita, got lifters yesterday apparently. What happened was her daughter's been nicked for drink driving, so she's only gone to busy station in the car, smashed herself and got nicked for drink driving. So they both ended up in the same clink overnight.
What's going on with Corrie? I mean,
everyone's getting the collar fells, the Corrie fells.
So this is my nomination. I don't know her real name. Rita the Owlbirds.
She's got nicked and Corrie left first.
For touching young girls up, but that's for another show. That's definitely not much in the boys. But that Owlbirds is my nomination for wanker of the week. That's it, fair club.
Tony, who's your nomination for wanker of the week?
Well, I was looking Solskjaer, for his carry on last week. He's just been a wanker, wasn't he? But
well, it is called wanker of the week.
Well, if you notice, people in power and people in the public eye are not being as wankerish as much now because they know they'll get it.
The answer is on the case.
Yeah, they know they'll get wanker of the week, so they're behaving themselves. So it's harder than harder to pick someone out.
Do you reckon? Yeah, they know. They've all got it subconsciously.
I'm not going to do that this week. I get wanker of the week on the noise from the boys. So I was thinking Solskjaer, and then who was the other one? I text someone else.
Kevin Friend.
That ref did, and I go, they're
Plus Poyet was on the shortlist as well.
Yeah,
for his comments pre-match on Wednesday.
I can't find many wankers of the weeks.
It's hard.
What about your mates on questions time?
Oh my God!
Someone do the Cowardly Lion, go on, so.
Well, what you do that for? I'll fight you all.
I think he was just there as someone to mock, basically, to just show. I know it takes a lot to find someone thicker than a Lib Dem or a Tory, but he takes
made out of red clay.
To a whole new level.
Scary.
I was born ginger, and my balls are exactly the same as him. I was looking at my nads the other night, and the Mick
we need to
stand over a minute in the bathroom. No, you're just like morphs, Dad.
You need to take a photo of that and then superimpose Ferguson sitting next to you.
Brilliant. Looks like Lloyd's balls.
I don't know as well, the Chosen One banner with the stewards standing over the Chosen One banner.
Yeah, to keep the to keep the infidels away. Apparently, what the natives are restless.
Can we talk about what's going on with him in a minute after this? But
lead you in then, Tom.
Well, on Wanker, I know my opinion counts for nothing around this the sages around this table, but I actually think Moyes this week.
Yeah, I'd say Moyes because
he's only had it once.
For me, he's up that what he's doing is
he's a friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show,
but to go out and get slaughtered off us and get slaughtered off Man City.
Yeah.
Also, can you back Moyes?
But then the following, the interview after the City game was priceless, where he said they are the team we aspire to be. You couldn't have. Ferguson must have just. He must have had the shotgun ready. Ferguson just said, "Get him out here now."
That was like Roy Hodgson.
We're up mid
sports stadium in Iraq where the Taliban were educated.
We did try and educate everyone, Paul, didn't we? 2 weeks ago to take the 4-1. They've actually stopped taking bets on them now.
I've got mine on.
I've got mine on.
But it's aspiring to be like Man City.
Yeah, that was a show and a half.
Well, I actually think Moyes is there's no real. But I think we're picking straws with the other people. You know, poor Alan Fair. Sure, we had a belly. Throw before their sport into business.
We've all been nicked for that.
It's not that easy. Sticking up for a daughter and
he was in the duck bones or something.
Poor our Kevin friend as well. You know, he's just not his fault. He's a shit referee.
And we've all trying to steer this to Mr. Moyes, isn't he?
I'll go to the ring there as well.
Solskjaer, you know, he's my ex-Man U, so you'd expect that from ex-Man U, you know what I mean? So
Moyes is a wanker, and more to the point,
this wanker. That's no doubt about it.
You want to talk about the banner and a minute to you talk, because I won't say what I've got to say then, but I'm voting Moyes. Tony's disgusted, he's leaving.
As you said, he's a friend of the show, David Moyes. We are happy with him, and he's looking old, and he's. He looking old.
Talking about tucking all in 3 days. Is not a
I believe his daughter's shacked up with Wilfred as well, which probably hasn't gone down too well either.
This is brilliant. The Scottish girl, have you seen her on Twitter? Her name's Sarah Moyes, and it's like at Moyesy, and she's getting dogs abuse. Oh, have you slagged? Get your dad out of our club. And she's like that. It's not me. It's not me, Dad. Yeah, fuck it.
Disowning his own dad.
I want him out the house. Never mind the club.
It's not his dad. She's nothing to do with him, but it's really funny all the abuse she was getting. Like,
well, we'll be having Moyes then. We'll give him Moyes Wanker of the Week.
I'll through grit and teeth, I'll say Moyes, but I will have to reiterate that David, you are a friend of our show.
So
Wanker of the Week. Wanker of the Week. He's the Wanker of the Week. David Moyes.
I know, may you continue. Don't sack him.
While we're on the topic of Wanker of the Week, a big thank you to Gary Welch for doing our graphics for Wanker of the Week. They are absolutely outstanding. I've known Gary for donkey's years. He's a top fella, top red, Banfield lad, born and bred. So well done, Gary. And as soon as you get this, mate, it's Mr. Moyes. So it's an easy one for you tonight.
But saying about Moyes the other night at OT, they were trying to rip the banner down, weren't they? Well, apparently in the paper there's a picture of it, so it's true. Someone was giving him an earful and was getting a bit too close, and the steward jumped in and stopped him from. The papers making out he was giving him a dig. I don't think he was giving him a dig.
He had a clenched fist, that's what he was. He was about 6 feet up.
Why I are, you know, like one of them Maltesers fella. That's the way it's going to be, see? And then the stewards are like, for the guard of honour around this, the chosen one. Now this is strangling them. This banner, it's just killed them. But it's brilliant. So when it does come down, there's another thing to jump on as well. So they're just leaving it there for the time being.
But it turns on Turkey now as well.
Yeah,
but we're shouting at abuse now.
Shouting at Sir Alex, so the natives are getting a bit restless. But
isn't that bad though? Yeah, you know, a legend of the club like Fergie. Sorry, Tom, but a legend of the club like Fergie, and they're turning on him. But he's just done for them.
He didn't know about them, is it?
But do you remember the conspiracy? So just let Tony go in now and I'll leave him alone. But do you remember this conspiracy jockey says he brought up about 4 or 5 shows ago? He said he's got a mate in Manchester who's convinced he done this to butter his own bread, you know, to make his dynasty outstanding and underline and how good am I, because if you look who we had either side of them, Dirty Ron was one side and now he's got Didder and Dave the other, and in the middle you've just got trophy after trophy after trophy, so you never know, Ferguson might have been.
There's another thing that was funny that I read. Someone put it on Twitter or Facebook, someone we know, I can't recall his name now, if it doing you an injustice here. It said, if you just split up with your beard after so long and you got to pick an ex-fella, would you pick a 20-year-old virile thick kid with a big todjet and blonde hair, dark, nice looking, or would you pick some red-headed fella with a little dick? He said, think about it, that's all. No, like Moyes represent Moyes.
Bollocks like Michael Flynn.
Do you know what I mean? And he said, think about it, who would you pick? He said, you can't bring Fergie for picking. It was brilliant. But anyway, getting back to where the banners and what have you, and the unrest in the ground, and the Mancs have actually, because they can't get this banner ripped down, they've hired a plane which is going to carry a banner on the tail of the plane over OT, and it says the wrong one, Moyes out. So this is on the kick-off. These have hired to do this.
And you know what's even better than that now, so which I was just hearing? There's a second plane with a second banner going up, but the fella who's flying that plane has declined to say whether it's pro or anti. So it actually could be. It's a win-win situation, because if it's another Moyes out, that's sound. But if it's Moyes stay and all that, it's civil war then, isn't it? They're on a big, bad, slippery. I mean, fucking airplanes, planes. It's the Red Baron. Did he ever fight with Colin, the Red Baron?
Do it, sorry.
No, he's asleep. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what, didn't Britain have someone like the Red Baron, like the Green Baron or something like that? No, anyway.
No, they did.
Leonard Cheshire was one of our famous fighter pilots.
Was he?
Yeah, Leonard
Green
Cheshire.
Barons,
Douglas
Bader.
Douglas Bader, yeah.
They were bomber
Douglas Bader had no legs, anyway, look.
They were bomber commanders.
Talking of these planes, since we beat them at Old Trafford, that plane's gone missing, Annie. So I think when they sack him, that plane's going to come back. Yeah. They just don't want nothing. The Man U fans, they just don't want nothing to do with them. So when that's come up.
Hang on, didn't Dick Dastardly and Mutley have a plane?
Yeah.
Talking about the answer.
That was the pigeon.
That's the answer. No, it's the same program. Same program.
The answer now. Where are you on the wacky list?
That's the second plane.
You know that crank in the tank, the Mad General, Captain Caveman.
Well, I reckon that's the second plane tomorrow. It's Dastardly and Mutley with the answer. Moyes must stay.
Catch the pigeon. Grab him, smash him. It's brilliant.
That needs to be back on the telly. But it's all good stuff. They're on a slippery slope, and whichever way they turn is a bad move now. Change the manager, keep the manager.
Well,
they've got a big problem.
Let's hope Colin's protection doesn't come in and they go on to
which is what?
Cup.
Oh, behave yourself.
It wasn't a prediction. It was the worst outcome that could happen to the season. Listen, I bet you there was 4 people sat around the table in 2005 saying the same thing. So you said it before. You can't predict anything in football.
We had Alonso and Garcia.
But we never went from
Gerrard and Ippia. We
had Benitez, who was a tactical. It turned a bit sour, but he was a genius at that point. He could make a bad team good. Moyes has got an alright team and has made them
dog shit. We had Ippia, we had Gerrard, we had Alonso, Garcia, Carragher in his prime. So we had a backbone of a good team. They've got an absolute team.
I'm just thinking of the real worst things that could really sour our season, and I shouldn't really sour it. I'll get it off my head.
I'd take the league and then win the European Cup though.
Well, I would, but it's just not going to happen. I don't even know how you can think about it. They are dire. They're not going anything out of Bayern Munich.
Come on, anyway, let's move on.
Right, moving on to Spurs. Then we've got Spurs coming up Sunday. Who's going first? It's Colin.
Spurs at home. Looking at Wednesday's game against Sunderland, I don't think we can afford to take our foot off the gas, as Tony mentioned before. Wednesday night we seem to be a little bit lethargic and leggy, and we weren't our usual, flying out the traps style that we've got. So back to the way we played, I think, against Spurs. They're not a bad little side, although I watched them live against Benfica at White Hart Lane a couple of weeks ago, and they were absolutely terrible. And I texted the lads and said, there's nothing to worry about here for top 4. And he isn't. They're not going to overtake us. But they carry a lot of danger, Spurs. They've got some quality players in the side. I haven't seen much of them, obviously, this season, and they have struggled a bit under the new manager, or the new temporary manager. Eriksen, Adebayor, little fella in midfield, who we were after as well. Can't think of what's the name off the top of my head.
Eriksen?
Sigurdsson, yeah, told him Sigurdsson, yeah. So they've got some good footballers there, do you know what I mean? And they will be dangerous on the attack. If we just play to our strengths, we'll be fine. I don't think the game will hold no worries for us. But the only little thing niggling away in the back of my mind is the legginess we showed on Wednesday. I don't know whether the fact that we're playing the same 12 and 13 all the time is starting to catch up with us. I know it's a good thing because it's a settled side, but a little bit of freshness I don't think wouldn't go amiss for Sunday. And another good thing as well, we get the extra day off and it's a 4 o'clock kick-off. So, the Spurs, dodgy little side Spurs, let's not take them lightly, straight out the traps. Let's get that early goal Chris was always going on about. If we get the early goal, it settles us down, it settles the crowd down, and take it from there. So hopefully a home win.
Well, going back to where they're saying he's freshening up, Coutinho had a game and a half on Wednesday and you couldn't drop him, but Sterling season changed against Tottenham when we played them at White Hart Lane, and he changed his whole game around from that day. So players turn up against teams, who they play against, and like the strikers who score against certain teams, and they'll go on and carry on scoring against
Suarez and Norwich, for example.
Yeah. So I think maybe throw Sterling in just to freshen it up, give them the width, give them more, like, a bit of liveliness about it, and Sterling might raise his game again like he did last time. That's just one of them. But I couldn't drop Coutinho the way he played, but maybe he will. I don't know. But they're the only ones who he's going to drop, isn't it? He's not going to drop Joe Allen for Lucas. He's not going to drop anyone else because there's no one else to bring in. You could only nitpick and say Aga for Sacco, but you're not going to disrupt the defence. That's just won 7 games on the bounce. So.
I just think Tottenham still play this massive high defensive line, and if we have got our legs back and are taking the ball off them up the top end of the pitch, I can see us destroying them again.
I'm not too frightened of facing them actually myself. I was more frightened of Sunderland. Thought they were a bigger threat. These type of games like Palace or like we mentioned Sunderland, I was more scared of them. And since the 5-0 thrashing that we gave them down there, I think they've gone worse, done better. They haven't turned any corners, and you can see they're a team of individuals at the minute, whereas we've got the team. Our ethics.
We've got the individuals and but
we're a team. Do you know what I mean? Remember that AVB saying Spurs were an all-round better team and that, you know what I mean? It's Uncle Sour grapes really, but that for Tongan's been spotting the same now. Yeah. You know what I mean? We'd be in their place. They're a one-man team. We'd be in their spec if it wasn't for Suarez. Yeah. Which you could spin on its head and say, you might have been in our place if it wasn't for you. You know what I mean? The defending you've been pulling out the bag. Yeah. But,
well, Brendan commented on it today in his press conference and said, he did. And he said, we're not a one-man team. We played loads of games without Suarez and won. He said, the pressure's on Tottenham. They've spent £100 million and look where they are. So he just turned it.
They've got one or two that you have to keep your eye on, obviously. Yeah.
But I think the weak though, aren't they? If we get a goal, get a second goal. Yeah, exactly.
My mate's a Tottenham fan, sorry to interrupt, and he's from down that end, and he says Matt Dawson's other name is Mistake By, because that's all you do. Mistake By Dawson. Matt Mistake By Dawson.
Dawson's Creek. And it's the type of game that the crowd, the team and the manager will be up for us, you know what I mean? We'll all be up for it. They look after themselves, these type of games, won't they? These will have to come and play. But these will have to come and play, won't they? And that suits us to the ground, you know what I mean? It's not a game I'm expecting to lose like on Sunday, but we will be in a game because it's the importance of it, you know what I mean? And it's going to be like that to the end of the season, really, isn't it? These type of games. And every time they've played bad, Tim Sherwood, he's trying to berate the man to get a response out of him, and it hasn't happened. You know what I mean? He's been legging the man on his postmaster interviews, and if you keep slaughtering players, they won't respond in the end. You know what they're like? They're like prima donnas, aren't they? If you keep legging them publicly, they're not going to want to play for you. But like I say, I don't want to worry about them. We worry about ourselves like we do, like nobody's installed, just worry about ourselves. I'm confident that we can win them.
But the thing is, we're playing Sunday as well, and City and Arsenal playing Saturday, so we could go for that.
Win again for
win. So, you know, City's got points, you know, they're going to be right up for it, but if City win, the pressure's on Liverpool then to win, isn't it? So, either way, it's going to be, you know, it's in our hands. We know what to do Sunday.
And just to mention Sunday as well, Anfield FM's got quite a big event going on, pre-match and post-match as well, at Riley's Grand Central, which is Bolton Street, just behind the Yankee bar actually. About an hour beforehand we're live. It's a boss little bar, Riley's Grand Central, pool and snooker and all that, but where they've set us up with the big massive screen as well to watch the match. So if anyone's in town before the game and can call in and join in, get on live video at Riley's, come along, and it's nice if you go past, if anyone's been past it, they've got all big Anfield FM posters in the window. It's very nice. Very nice for us to get the credit we deserve.
I watched the Liverpool City game in there on Boxing Night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, before we went to
it's good, isn't it?
The States.
I'm surprised you
don't remember what it was like then.
So now we got beat by City that night, but we shouldn't have, by the way.
Yeah, no, I was there that night. It was good.
But no, it's good in there, yeah. Good.
So anyone in town before and come along. Tony's got
a little stats here about
go on, lad.
We're playing these on the 30th of March. I think it deserves a mention. The 30th of March 1976, John Toshak scored the only goal of the game as Liverpool win the UEFA Cup semi-final first leg at Barcelona, when we won that wore the famous white kit which they made for the one when we were back in 2001. Cole.
Do you know what they've done after the game? The Barcelona fans, in the Barcelona fans all got free padded seats. Every single seat went on the pitch because they'd never been beaten before by an English side at home in any European competition, and we were the first to do
sort
it.
of seats on the job.
Apparently, when you do something like that, it's almost as bad as the Pig's Head over there. You read what the story of the Pig's Head, you know. But the seats, that's to say, like,
when we went back 2001,
yeah, we understand
25 years since we beat them 76, and we've done a replica kit, didn't we? They made the white kit that we wore that night.
Well, that was like me and you and Mick Crombie. We were on the ale in Barcelona in the grounds, and it took us 14 bevies to realise there was non-alcohol.
So we rubbed the bottle. We had to rub the bottle of Molly.
You're all staggering all over the place, pretending
to mention money.
Twice we beat them there. I was there for the second one. Well, so Spurs, let's just get stuck in, lads, and everyone in the stadium, if you'll take a bit of a lead from the noise from the boys, shut the fuck up unless you're going to be positive.
If you get a visit off the Anfield,
the Anfield mob will be on your case. Okay, so we're moving on to another extremely popular part of the show. Has anyone got any music for this, Chris? Chris has got the music for this. It's Caveney's Call My Bluff.
It's
but we're having to do the big. We're shelving Call My Bluff for 1 week, and we're actually coming up with a new slot. And tonight's new slot, as a one-off, it's called From Behind the Caveney Gates.
Where the This is a tale.
It's a tale. So it's not a bluff or a truth.
Was it a bluff last week anyway?
Yeah. What happened last week?
Yeah, it was toffee that.
So you never met Dean Martin?
Well, it wasn't Dean Martin. If you know what I mean. I thought it was, and I thought it was Dean Martin. So I made a story, didn't I met Dean Martin.
Just quickly before Tony goes in there, I did say I'd mentioned these two fellas. I was on my way into the grab, put my bet on and bet win under the main stands on Wednesday, and I'm making my way up into my seat, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and it was two fellas, Terry McGivern and Stevie O'Keefe, who said the first time they listened to the show last week, said it was absolutely brilliant, really liked the show, but they said, tell your mate Tony Caveney his stories a load of shite. They're all flannel, he said.
Yeah, it's like,
they know you well,
so thanks for listening, Terry and Steve, and thank you very kindly.
Listen, you're not a Mickey if you don't talk shit now and again. You know what I mean? It's in us, innit, to talk a bit of toffee. You've got to spout a bit of white lies. Never hear no one, because we've been on about it lately. I mean, big black lies here, people. White lies, and everyone throws a little white lie in. So it's something to talk about, isn't it? But here's another one. No, we're on about white lies. No, this is right. I was out hobnobbing, as you do, and it was me mates.
Was this during the last year's 2007 to 2010?
Right, so it's Calvy's stag do.
Stephen
Calvy's stag do. So we're all down the Albert Dock, and like there's a few of us. Will Moss is with us, Robbie's with us, Fowler, Stevie McManaman's with us. We've got a kind of McAteer's with us, and I've got a few of Stevens mates from the lane, and a few like Brian Ball and John Kelly and all that out. Anyway, having a few pints down the Albert Dock as you do with all the Liverpool first team. And next performance, let's go to this new club over there, the News Bar on Water Street. So we said, come on, we'll go over there. So go VIP things there, little VIP areas in there. So he goes over as we walk. So he said, we're meeting the rest of the lads, sort of thing. This is Robbie looking after Calvi. He's the grooming. So as we walks in, straight through to this VIP area, and like bladdered now, was doing windmills and everything, all just through out of here, and we sit down, and we're in company of Steve Agnes, Rob Jones, Mark Wright. So I sit down and bladdered, and I went, oh, it's a pleasure to me. I said, Steve, you were shit, but you were full of art. I said,
art in the trenches.
And he's looking at me like that, and you were crap. I said, you give 100%, that's what we want. I said to Rob Jones, I said, Rob, I said, I was blessed to see you, had the best right back we've ever had. I said, it's a shame what happened to you. Turns round, and like there's a few other players sitting there. You got Paul Ince, he's there. Paul Ince, I said, Mark Wright, I wasn't really into you, blah blah. I said, but you're a nice fella, you're a lovely fella. There's nothing I can say about you, I can't leg you. Look at you. Next thing he turns round, she said, and as for you, I said, as for you,
To Paul Ince.
yeah, I said, you was one of the best. I'll tell you right now, you were one of the best I've seen. He said, oh, thank you very much. I went, I'm telling you now, seriously. Like I said, you was one of the best. You was one of the best I've seen. I said, you're up there with the best. I said, I thought you were great, I loved you. He went, thank you. And I said, what's your name? Lloyd O'Nigan. Right. So his face was dropped. Right? And I stayed up all night to watch it against Tom Curry. He's looked at Robbie like he's got the colour of boiled shite, and they're all laughing their heads off. And I'm in pleats, and I went, oh, come on, the ragamuffin. Sheesh. Start throwing things at him and everything. And he's got a right tit lip on. He's turned down to Robbie, and can you get rid of him? You know, we're all skating, and Robbie, give him his dues, man. Turning him, we're only having a laugh, come on, we'll get off, left him. So just legged him, right? I mean, he had a right tit lip on, like, you know what I mean? That's my little story, I thought, it's a crack.
That could easily have been a call my bluff. Why have you spoiled that, Colin?
Hang on a minute, he told me to change it.
Why have you spoiled that, Tony?
Hang on a minute, I'll read the exact message. I'll read the exact message. No, you said to me, well, we can't read that one off. We can't show them that picture either.
It's
alright. At least we know what you said. My bluff is more of a story. It concerns Paul Ince and Lloyd O'Nigan.
Yeah.
That's still okay.
Is that okay to say it? Is it like a bluff?
Oh, alright. Well, it makes no difference, does it? We've been to the little part of the show from behind the
it's not as heavy as Dean Martin, is it? And Spike and George Benson. So I just thought, does it classes like has the bluff's got to be that bluff that they're out of the world, out of this world? That's going to just
maybe we should ask the listeners.
I've actually tried to Google the music genre that George tried to create, and unfortunately that didn't exist. So
what is it?
He's still kicking, yeah. But unfortunately his dream never materialised.
Yeah, well, the governor though, we didn't see the funny side. He wasn't happy. Yeah, the divvy.
Well said, Tony. Anyway, well, that's a great story. I like that a lot. You know what I mean? We'll have to move swiftly on, but the first thing we're going to talk about, because we are actually winding down now. We've been going for ages.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never walk alone.
This is what the people want.
Yeah, we're giving the people what they want. You'll never walk alone. The LFC history play.
Right, 8 o'clock tomorrow. We're all making an appearance, aren't we?
Well, let's talk about our night. We've got a big night ahead. We've off the table.
That's right, we're going for a meal. Paul, you're coming, aren't you?
Yeah, we're all out.
No. I'm on a 60th. Well, 60th, sorry. I was never on it.
Sorry, Chris.
I'm going out because it's Mother's Day, so I'm taking the mothers out on Saturday.
Okay, but you're coming to play.
Yeah, I'm going to play. I'm meeting you Saturday.
Well, Birdie's kid's birthday kick-off, have me make birthday.
He's coming for a meal.
He's coming with Martin Davis.
So there's about 8 of us. Joel's coming, he's flying in. Especially from Brendan. Joel's coming especially from Aberdeen on a chartered personal flight.
Very nice.
Because he can afford it.
He's got a few quid.
And Bernie Allen might be making an appearance as well.
Speaking of Bernie Allen.
Oh, hang on. So
that Chris nearly forgot there, Ben. Well, you can come in a minute. But anyway, quickly on about the You Never Walk Alone play for the last night tomorrow. It's laid out to be an absolutely brilliant occasion, and I really can't wait to get to see it. The lads have been to see it. I haven't. I never went the original time when it first came out, so this is my first time. But everyone, I've been watching, keeping an eye on the social media networks, Twitter and Facebook, and it's getting 11 out of 10s from everyone who's been. So I'm really, really looking forward to tomorrow.
My only question was, and I asked this to Nicky, is why didn't he write Anfield FM into the LFC official list of these shows?
And another special person, the Norwegian James Bond's flying in as well tomorrow. I've got to pick him up from Maneir at 4:30.
Is this Kenny Boulder?
Ulav's coming home tomorrow.
Is he, yeah?
Ulav's on his way home, he's finishing work here tonight and then he's flying in tomorrow, so we'll be having a beer or two with us as well.
Just say Kenny Valdez.
Kenny, sorry about this, Ken, but this is Paul making me do it. It's Kenny Valdez.
So they're not laughing, but I like that. I like that a lot.
So over to Chris.
So getting back to Bernie, as I said, being off the air for 3 months virtually with training.
Why are you rubbing your tits as you say that?
Hang on a minute. I must just interject here. He was actually sending us selfies, Chris, so he put himself in the mirror.
In a pair of shorts.
He's lad in his onesie, that.
I've had a few babies though. And no, it's looking good. I had a few pints up before the match, after that, the flag thing and all that before the match, so got carried away a little bit before the game, and
fair enough.
Got carried away a little bit after the match as well. So we were in the Solly till about, we got kicked out the Solly. There was only 3 of us left in there, but it was with Bernie and some other lad. I don't know the lad's name. He was alright though. We had a good little waffle about we were going to win the league, and you know, I'd rather win the European Cups, this, that and the other. It was a good little bevy, little bit of waffling anyway. So anyway, he just asked me to mention a lad called Neil Dowley. It's his birthday, I think he said.
How old is he, Chris?
He didn't say to mention his name, but his age. But I think he is 41. And that's on Mick and Bernie.
I thought that was 4-1 because it's not a bet.
Yeah, that's what it's on a betting slip.
So that whole story became Happy Birthday Neil Dowley.
Happy Birthday Neil Dowley from Mick and Bernie. And I wrote something on the back what I can't even read. The lad's been all over the world watching the Reds, and all the best anyway, Neil.
Well then, Neil, all the best.
Yeah, we've done a little Lloyd lectures.
The Twitter, just a few shout outs to the Twitter's followers, because as we say, the Twitter's not without the people who follow it, and a couple of new listeners as well. So we've got Neil Ibbott. He hasn't missed a game since Sunderland.
It's his first one.
He's on the Sands and Wall, and Sands and Wall's no relation to the Caveney Gate, by the way.
No, it's
2 separate entities. Scott Burke, he's a big red, and Joe Eganess and Emil. I was looking after them this week. 2 Norwegian lads who flew in for the game. They're only young kids, these, and they absolutely adore Liverpool. Love the place. They're trying to get over there as often as they can. So big hello to Joe Eganess and Emil from Norway.
Can I just mention one more thing? Liverpool are set to play Shamrock Rovers at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin on Wednesday, May the 14th at 5:30 evening kick-off.
I'll read my house.
Yeah, if you go and rob a bank and take loads of money just because it's Brewster's,
it's 11 quid.
That come out last night, so I thought we'd mention it. And something, this is hot off the press, what I've just seen. Earl Jackson has just posted. It's gone from 13 to 22 coppers now.
Being elected.
Good stuff. It is right.
So we're saying we all have sleepless nights. So thanks for the news, Earl.
Good luck.
Keeping us abreast of things.
The other thing as well, just to mention about Shamrock Rovers, is that Anfield FM does have media accreditation for that game. So subject to.
Can I just mention there, Anfield FM were over there, but Anfield FM were in no states to do any media coverage.
Last time
when we were all over there on the golf bean and the footy game.
Oh, don't talk about it.
Well, we've got media accreditation, so we'll be commentating on that game, hopefully, depending on the Wi-Fi in whatever their stadium's called. They don't play at the Aviva.
No, it's in the
Aviva. We're laughing, so we could be having live commentary for Shamrock Rovers for all the stay-at-homes.
Well, imagine if we did win the league.
Imagine what a party Dublin's going to be. I'm going. Colin, what's the weekend's betting?
Right,
to finish off.
The weekend bet, and we touched on it earlier, the lads have brought it up in little dispatches there, how good Philippe Coutinho plays on Wednesday night. He was all over there at the back line of Sunderland's, causing chaos, and I've just got a sneaking feeling he's coming back into a really big piece of form, because he has been quiet of late.
Sun's on his back now.
So I think
Probably
my
right.
bet for the weekend will be Philippe Coutinho to score at any time in the game, and you'll probably get between 4 and 6 to 1 depending on where you go. So that's my bet of the weekend.
Thank you, Colin.
What we noticed is the betting's gone downhill with us lately, and at the odds they're offering you, so it was 2 to 1. Suarez first goal the other day, 3 to 1, so it was terrible, do you know what I mean?
Well, I had Gerrard first goal scored 4 and 5-0, so I was very disappointed when the lads didn't go on.
4-1.
Do better next time. Can I just say, I like to focus on the lower leagues, and Rochdale and York, along with Rotherham and the mighty Liverpool, are the 4 form teams in England at the moment. Well, York and Rochdale are both in League 2. They're both unbeaten in 10 games with 8 wins, same as Liverpool. Well, they're a game ahead of us, in fact, and Rotherham in League 1 are on the same run. So I don't know who they're playing, I don't know what, but they're good little tips for you.
Well, I'm Tommy betting. I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. Suarez first goal.
So
I'm going to also go 3-1 with Sturridge first goal.
very good. Colin?
That's my best, Coutinho anytime.
Coutinho anytime.
Score for the game, Cole?
I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Tottenham 0.
2-0. That's a proper scoreline.
So 2-0, 3-1, 3-1.
7-0 Terry McDermott.
Supporters, please support in the ground. Don't get negative. Let's stay positive. We can win this league, and that's it from Noise from the bench.
Up the Reds.
The Reds.